Only the present moment exists.
What does this even mean?
In this video, I'm going to explain to you what that means, and we're going to get a much clearer understanding of what time actually is and how we use it to create our reality. Now, there's a few different direction and angles that we need to go to, but let's start with time. So in this 3D reality, we call it space-time. We're in space and we maneuver through time. When we talk about time, we tend to think of the clock on the wall. What time is it right now? Well, actually right now it's 1:46. And we think of time as being linear. Now your clocks, whether it's on the wall or your watch or your phone, has nothing to do with time in terms of space-time. The clocks that we have is actually based on the atom. The length of a second is actually based on atoms having different energy levels. The states that these energy levels transition, however long that is, in only a specific type of atom, is what we have decided to use for the duration of a second. That is why the clocks that we use are called atomic clocks, because it's based on the atom. Now that's the length of a second, but then you have minutes, which is 60 seconds, an hour, which is 60 minutes, and then a day, which is 24 hours. All of that is based on the motion of the Earth spinning, as well as going around the sun in the solar system. When the Earth spins once, we've called that one day. When the Earth goes around our star, which we've named the sun, once, we call that a year. So the second, which is running all of our clocks, is based on the atom. Our days, months, and years are all based on the motion of the Earth. So our clocks have nothing to do with time when it comes to the time when we're talking about space-time. Now, this is really interesting when it comes to your age. Let's say if you were 35 years old, that would be part of your identity as the character that you are. But you're actually not 35 years old. I mean, you are if you base it on the measurement of how many times the Earth has gone around the sun. Yes, I am 35 years old. But at the same time, if the moment I was born is the same moment that I was still born, but instead of being on Earth, I was just on a spaceship flying through space up until this new present moment, how old would I be? Would I subscribe to the fact that I am labeling myself as 35 years old? Only if I was basing the measurement from the Earth going around the sun. Otherwise, I don't have an age. That's because everything is the present moment. And this doesn't just work like that. Let's say I was on Earth, but the Earth never spins. Let's say the part of the Earth that I'm at is constantly facing the sun. And we already know there's objects out in space that don't spin. The moon doesn't spin. The moon goes around the Earth, but it doesn't spin. So if the Earth didn't spin, then there'd be no tomorrow and no yesterday. Because tomorrow and yesterday are ideas, labels, things that we've created because the Earth spins. Now that doesn't mean that they're wrong. It's a way of measuring things. But if the sun was out all day, I couldn't say, okay, let's do that thing tomorrow. So only the present moment exists. Let's get a little bit deeper. Now, if only the present moment exists, that means that there is no future and there is no past. So let's represent the present moment with this line. This line represents the present moment. Now remember, time isn't linear, so the past and future don't exist. But that's not how we've been seeing things. Any reference that I have to my past, anything at all, would be me thinking about something I've already been through. And that thought might be a memory. Someone might talk to me, remind me about what has happened, and that conversation will make me remember. And the way I remember is by having that thought, by thinking about what happened, creating the imaginational memory within myself. So any reference I have to my past is a thought. And anything to do with my future, any reference, I may be planning on being able to create something, planning on going on vacation. I might be planning to pay the bills at the end of the month. Whatever that is, any reference I have to the future is also a thought. Now, if I simply don't have those thoughts, then they don't exist. If I don't have any reference of thought about the past or the future, then they don't exist in my reality. I know what you're thinking, but no, you will eventually get to the future. This is something we will address. So let's get deeper. What is time? Now we've heard the terms of manifestation. Oh, I'm going to manifest this car. I'm going to manifest this house, all this wealth. I'm going to manifest love. But the way we hear it is like, all right, I'm going to choose to manifest now, but later on, I'm not manifesting. All right, this morning when I wake up, I'm going to do some manifesting, and then later on, like, manifestation is always on. It's like gravity. Like, gravity never turns off. It's a force in this reality. The term of manifestation is to explain you going through realities. Time is actually what moves you through realities. We are going through realities billions of times a second. If I was to try and explain and show you what that looks like in the 3D part of your reality, I'll use the example of Doctor Strange's portal. Doctor Strange being from Marvel. Now, if you've ever seen the movies, in the movies of Doctor Strange, what happens is he will create a portal. Now, this portal doesn't necessarily go to other realities, but it's just to get the idea of what I'm trying to show you. Let's pretend that this portal did take us to other realities. Now, in the movie, you have the option of either walking through the portal yourself or having the portal move through you. Think of it like that. The portal is moving through you billions of times a second. And think of the size of the portal as the size of the universe. You're in the center of these portals that are constantly going billions of times a second. This is what I mean by manifestation is always on. Time is what's making you go through realities. Now let's think of it more kind of like energetically. Let's even say a level just above the 3D. Now we all understand the concept of a film projector, especially the old school cinema film projectors. So the projector itself has its mechanisms, everything that it needs in order to be able to shine a light and view what is being seen. And the real is what's moving through the light of the projector. This is what reality is. You in this reality, in the present moment, are the projector. And the realities that you are going through and experiencing is the film reel of the projector. So there is no future, there is no past, there is only this present moment. And when I am experiencing the present moment, I'm constantly experiencing this new present moment as my realities are continuously changing billions of times a second. This is how you are experiencing this reality. But hang on, whoa. I grow up and I was young, and hang on, how can there only be now and there's no past and there's no future? I was really young, I used to be a child, now I'm old and I'm going to be older again. So let's get even deeper. There's a lovely conversation regarding the ship of Theseus. In this conversation, the argument is that if there was a wooden ship and every part of that wood had rot, because of that, every part of that ship needed new pieces of wood. Now, if that happened, would that ship still be the ship of Theseus? And alternatively as well, if all of the pieces of wood that had rot from the original ship of Theseus was to be reconstructed and the rot was removed, would that now be the ship of Theseus? The answer is yes and no. They would both be the ship of Theseus, and simultaneously neither of them would be the ship of Theseus. Now we know as the human being our cells regenerate, and every 7 years we have completely different cells than we did previously. So we know already that today all the cells in my body are brand new cells from 7 years ago. All the cells in my body I didn't have when I was a child. Even if I was to get a cut on my hand, the cells that regenerate are brand new cells. That means this is not the same hand that I had when I was 5 years old. So I'm not growing, I'm changing. So by me going through all of these realities, the present moment is continuously changing. And because I am in the present moment, I'm not growing, I'm constantly changing with the present moment. I'm constantly going through different realities. And every time I do, I'm constantly changing. So only the present moment exists. Now, in this example, the film reel is the representation of me going through realities using time. Time is what we use to go through realities. Time is what we use to constantly experience new present moments. I'm not growing up, I'm constantly changing because the present moment is constantly changing. So what does it mean to manifest? You've heard it many times before. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are, because you are being what you want to be in the present moment. So I'm not arriving in this new manifested reality in the future. I'm changing my present moment to the desired manifested reality that I want to be in. I'm actually steering which reality my present moment goes in, which is what we call manifesting. Manifestation is always on. We're constantly going through billions of realities a second. We just need to learn how to steer the new present moment to the reality that we want. And the way that we're actually driving through these realities is by using our belief system. Is what I categorically believe within myself is what will be mirrored to me into any new reality that I arrive in. So if I have unconscious beliefs that I'm not good enough, that I'm unworthy, then my new present moment reality will mirror that back to me. So how do you get to the realities that you want? Everything we talked about in this video, you're already experiencing, you're already doing. So all you need to do is learn how to steer it, and you steer it with your belief system. So essentially, to simplify it, and I mean, I'm really simplifying it here. This doesn't mean this is the only thing, but this is like as simple as it can get, is to learn how to change your belief system about yourself, is to do the inner work. Everything is the self. Is to raise your self-awareness about all the parts of yourself that believe what they do, which is what has steered you in the reality that you are in now. Now, if you want to understand in more depth how this works, you can watch this video that I did, which goes much, much deeper into this explanation. The link for that video is in the description. Everything I put out in the world is to raise your self-awareness and to be able to get to these parts of yourself so you can steer and direct yourself to the desired reality that you want to be in. This is why I keep saying emotional healing is the cheat code to this reality, because by healing yourself emotionally, you raise your self-awareness, raise your emotional intelligence, and then you start changing your self-concept, what you believe about yourself, and then your reality shifts because your beliefs about yourself shift. If you're interested, I've created online courses that teach you how to raise your self-awareness and how to emotionally heal yourself. Again, the link for those will also be in the description. Now, before I leave you, I want to tell you this really, really cool thing. We got an understanding about clocks and where they actually come from. It's the motion of the earth and the atom. Now, when we say to someone that I'll meet you at that place at 8 o'clock, what we're actually saying to them is, I'm going to meet you at that place when the earth is in this part of the solar system. That's pretty cool. We're doing that and we don't even realize that we're doing that. I'm going to meet you there when the earth is spun so much and is in a certain part of its rotation around the sun. That is when I'm going to meet you at the restaurant. Pretty cool. Have a lovely rest of the day.